What's going on, and welcome back to another less than 5-minute gear review. And in this video we're going to be going over the AWS compact dump pouch. Now this guy's going to cost you about 40 bucks, but I do think it's worth it, even though it is very similar to a lot of other dump pouches out there. I mean, inherently dump pouches are very simple, not to insult anybody's intelligence, but I do think there is a few things that are unique about this guy compared to some of the other products on the market that should be taken into consideration if you do want a very small and lightweight compact package. So with that, I'm going to dive right into this guy. Whether you want to use this for magazines, water, snacks, mission essential equipment, whatever the intent or purpose is that you want to use this dump pouch for, although it's a very small compact size, it does have the capability of really carrying a lot, and I'll show you that here in a sec. You do have the ability to carry 5 mags or rifle mags plus a handful of pistol mags, so you do have some space and you do have some capability with this thing. When it comes to the construction though, you do have your mesh pocket. This is a very lightweight mesh, but with how well I think this thing has been constructed, I don't have any concern about this thing not being able to hold up or take a beating when it comes down to it. They definitely did a really good job putting this whole entire thing together. As far as some of the similarities go from this dump pouch to the other dump pouch, you do have Velcro on the exterior, so that way if you want to leave this pocket open, you only have very small openings, so I don't think that anything is going to fall out of this when it comes to moving around on the range and having this pocket open but still retaining everything with the flap. And then you also have Velcro on the interior, so if you just want to leave this pocket completely open, you do have the ability to do that. So, and then one cool thing with this design is they just took a little bit of nylon, folded over itself, and then sewed everything together, and this little bit of nylon gives it enough structure to where this thing wants to stay open on its own. You don't have to fight it trying to keep it open when you're trying to stow mags or put equipment back inside of this thing. So I do think they did a really good job with just that little bit of nylon on the interior to give it that rigid opening or structural opening. So on the back side, you just have your standard webbing and Cordura material for the backside to be able to molly into anything that you want to, whether it's a belt, plate carrier, seat back panel. I mean, I've seen all sorts of things where people put their dump pouch. So you do have the capability of mulling it into whatever you want. And then one cool thing about this too is the drawstring. So I've seen a couple of dump pouches with drawstrings, not as common when I think of it. I just don't think of very many dump pouches with drawstrings. But the way that they have this designed and set up compared to some of the other dump pouches out there, say like Maxpedition, where you have your elastic drawstrings that just pull out to the side, and then you have that potential snag hazard because they're just flopping in the wind. This, you have this giant loop when you pull this entire drawstring. So if you want to close this guy up, you pull that drawstring. I think it's smart, just take that loop, fold it over the or run it around the flap, and then Velcro it all together, and that way you don't have to worry about that snag hazard. So having a drawstring on this I think is nice, and then having that little bit of excess slack to be able to keep everything nice and tight is actually really good. So pretty simple and straightforward when it comes down to it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Last but not least, I'm going to show you what this looks like with mags in it. So I've got 5 rifle mags here off to the side. I'm going to throw them in there so that way you can see how much this thing can hold for as being as small and compact as it is. And then I'll fold it up so that way you can actually see how small it gets. So 5 rifle mags plus a handful of pistol mags, and you can see you do definitely have quite a bit of space on the inside of this thing, and then enough space left over to be able to throw probably just a little bit more in there. So I do think this does have quite a bit of space for being as small and as compact as it is, especially when you put this thing into its folded configuration. So you just tri-fold it and then roll it right up, and as you can see, this gets pretty small. And then you put that on my hand, and I don't have big hands by any means, but I mean, that's as big as my palm when it comes down to it. So it's pretty small and compact, especially when you're comparing this to like something like an HSGI, which is significantly larger. And I mean, although this does use a very lightweight mesh compared to like the Tier Tactical and the HSGI, which use a little bit more heavyweight mesh, I do think that this is still hold up and still do a really good job. So with that, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. We'll answer any questions that you have. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.